Hey, welcome to Musings, episode number 293. How's everybody doing?
Doing well here. We didn't hear them respond though.
I know. No comments yet.
Yeah. So welcome back to Michigan, Brett. You were on an adventure like a hobbit out down to Florida.
yeah. I took a little vacation down there, met up with some people. We all went to Universal Studios and spent
Did you
some
get to
fun times
see
there.
Vinny and Lisa?
Yep, Vinny and Lisa were with us.
Nice.
We all stayed at the same resort. So Vinny and Lisa were with us, Brandy and Kevin. It was kind of it was a planned trip.
Very nice.
For all of us to meet up down there instead of trying to meet up at a show and not spend any time together. So, and we didn't spend like 24/7 together. We kind of sometimes did our own separate things and that, but we always had a great time riding rides, trying out some of the Mardi Gras food, drinking some of the Mardi Gras stuff they had, and just
Excellent.
had a great time in that. 3 of the 4 days that we were there, I got up early with Vinny and Lisa, and we headed on over, and so we could ride Hagrid's first thing in the morning. And,
Wait a minute. Got up early?
yeah.
They got up early?
Oh yeah. They're much to Lisa's chagrin. They were up early. Vinny was like, "I'm going to go and spend all day," and
Yeah.
Vinny did. He wanted to spend all day there. So
For those who don't know, when we travel, it's often hard to get Vinny and Lisa to join us for breakfast.
well, that's actually it's not because they don't get up. It's because they don't do
True.
breakfast. That's
True.
what it is. So
True.
if they did breakfast, then that would be a different situation.
Mhm.
But Vinny, with his gluten and dairy allergies, is
Right.
very limited on stuff. But he also has a different diet plan. Same thing with Lisa. She's changed up her diet a little bit, not so much to match his, but to accommodate some things she's working on.
Yeah.
We all ended up doing like some lunch stuff together. We found a couple restaurants that we could all eat dinner at, stuff like that. We had Brandy's parents join us one day at the parks. That was a lot of fun. That was the Sunday. That was the day I didn't get up early. It was quite windy that day, and I figured, well, after 2 full days, I needed a little bit of rest. We had a little breakfast together. All of us headed over to the parks, and then we did more shows that day. Didn't really ride any rides. Just kind of hung out and enjoyed all the cool stuff around, and
Yep.
just had a good time. So,
Well, that's awesome.
yep. And this is we didn't get a chance to do the parade in terms of riding in it. Tried to, but we couldn't get any spots. So hopefully
Yeah.
next time. But Mom and I have done that before, and that's always a blast.
So while Brett was having fun, I was stranded in Michigan. But beautiful weather this last week here. For February, it was like amazing. So that was beautiful. On the plus side, though, a lot of real estate this week. Have an offer. It's actually getting signed right now. We had a buyer purchase a house, make an offer yesterday, and I got word that they're getting it signed right now. So when the show's over, I should have an accepted deal for my buyer. So that's a lot of fun.
Oh, fantastic.
And, so I've been busy with that, and I've been toying around with TikTok too, creating some new accounts there. And one of the accounts, it's just people who know me, I've got opinions, and I just created an opinion-based TikTok account, and in 2 weeks I've got 12,000 followers now.
Oh, okay.
I'm at the level where I can get monetized, so I'm gonna get that all hooked up and stuff. But it's an interesting animal, TikTok. It's much different than the other social medias. So just playing around with that and figuring out how that works. So been a lot of fun.
Well, good. Yeah, I
definitely get way more views than on Facebook. Zuckerberg's algorithm has its own, like only 20 people see my posts. And go on TikTok and post, I'm getting like 3,000 views.
Well, that's because the Chinese government wants to make sure that you're definitely getting out there more, since they are controlling everything TikTok. I've had TikTok on my phone a couple times, and I always found that even if I wasn't utilizing it, my battery died a lot faster. Now, maybe it's coincidence, whatever else, but being I use my phone a lot for Shipt, there's times I'm like, okay, the only thing I'm doing different is I had TikTok on there, and now my phone's only hovering around 60% all day instead of hitting 90% when I recharge between shops. So
I haven't noticed anything like that, but I'll pay attention, see if it makes a difference. But I haven't noticed that yet. But yeah, so it's just a different animal. As far as spying on us, the Chinese spying on us, do I really care? I mean, it's no worse than Zuckerberg spying on me and using it against me. So
they all watch everything. Anything you have on your phone, if you the only way to ensure you have nobody monitoring everything you're saying is to have zero electronics, to be completely off the grid in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, as we're learning from the Twitter files and the cases going, the trial going on in the Senate right now is, it's even worse than Zuckerberg is listening. We got the FBI actively in collusion with social media giants. The hearings right now are just covering Twitter. I guarantee you it's going to be even worse if they dig into Facebook and the other ones.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's truly why they don't like TikTok, is because the FBI doesn't run TikTok.
No, that'd be the Chinese Communist Party.
Actually, if I remember right, and we're kind of getting off track, we'll have to do our responses. But if I remember right, when Trump was president, didn't they pass something forcing the Chinese to break Twitter into a different
They were supposed to, there's supposed to be something handled differently for here versus there.
Yeah, like there was supposed to be a separation.
Yeah, so I talk about this more in jest than anything, but the only thing serious I had was that I noticed my battery drained a lot faster.
Yeah,
and so something was being utilized too much. Even when I checked my settings and said don't do this, don't do that, it still seemed to drain a lot faster.
Yeah, interesting.
So,
well, I'll pay attention and see if I notice it.
Yep, and again, could be just me, but again, I use my phone when I'm working. It's an all day thing, so I have to make sure it doesn't die on me. So.
Exactly.
But
let's talk about our awesome friends at Loringer.
Yeah, Larger Family Chiropractic Center, PC, located in Belleville, Michigan, and Dexter, Michigan. They take great pride in providing the finest chiropractic care to each and every patient, offering on-site digital x-rays, massage therapy, orthotics by foot levelers, young living essential oils, aromatherapy, full line of vitamins, all in a family-oriented environment. Give a call, 734-697-4244. Visit online at LaurierFamilyChiropractic.com, as well as the Book of Faces, Zuckerberg's own Loringer Family Chiropractic Center, PC. On there, you can go and like them, call them, and check out some of the different stuff available, as well as see a map of where they're located in Belleville. So definitely check out Loringer Family Chiropractic Center, PC.
All right. And then we also have Team Titans of Real Estate. Why? Because you matter. That's right. Even though we utilize the latest in tools and technology to maximize your home buying and selling experiences, we never forget at the core, it's you, a person at the center of it. So we take that seriously. This week has been a great week. Things have definitely been starting to pick up. So if you're thinking about selling your house, now is the time to start talking, because I had one consultation this week. They're like, yeah, we want to be sold by middle or by beginning of April. I'm like, well, it's mid-February right now, and the type of house they had and the location, the average time to sell is 28 days right now. And then you add in the average time to close, which is 30 days. And it's like, you're looking more like mid-April right now. So we need to get this house listed if you want to be sold and closed by then. So now's the time to get serious about it. We're seeing more listings in our office, a lot more phone activity, which is typical as spring approaches. So one of the keys to listing your house, though, is we're getting into the sweet spot here between now and mid to late March, because it's a time period where the buyers are starting to come out, they're looking, but there's not much competition yet. And come end of March, we're going to see a surge of houses come on the market. And at that point, there's a big difference between you being the only house for sale in your subdivision versus 10 other houses being for sale in your subdivision. The more options a buyer has, the less likely they are to overbid on you. So give us a call, 586-232-5144. And Jill and I are here to take care of you. I posted in the comments there the links and phone number as well.
All right. Cool.
So
I was down in Florida, like I said, and rode some rides, had some fun, and I highly recommend Universal, anybody that's into that stuff, because they always do a great job of taking care of their people.
Well, next time you guys all go, let me know, and hopefully I can partake. I definitely want to go again. I miss it down there.
Well, I mentioned it to you. You probably forgot, but
no, I know. It's just
not
right
at the right
now.
time.
Yeah, this year's been well, as you know, it's been a rough year, but hopefully.
Well, I'll tell you, even if the group doesn't go down, I don't know if that'll happen again anytime soon. But anytime Mom and I are planning a trip, you're all
just give me a heads up.
Well. I know for sure we'll plan a trip next year during the time of the Christmas stuff, but I'm hoping to get down there before that at least once. The Christmas stuff is a blast. I enjoy that a lot. Seeing the Grinchmas things like that. Now Scott's not a roller coaster rider, though I tricked him one time. And only once, never again. Although I did fool him on the Cat in the Hat.
Twice. You fooled me twice, but in opposite ways.
Yes.
So we'll retell that story. So I hate roller coasters. I'm not good with roller coasters at all. So he's like, "Oh, this one ride, it's nothing. Don't worry about it." And then we get in on it. It's one of the Harry Potter Gringotts, I think.
Escape from Gringotts. Yep.
And we get in and sit down, and all of a sudden it's like the platform is raising, and then like this thing opens for a big drop. I'm like, what is going on? And it's like, I lied. And all of a sudden, shoom. Once the initial one goes, though, I enjoyed the rest of the ride. It's just that I hate that drop feeling. So then we do that and get off. So now I'm totally mistrusting Brett. And we go on the Cat in the Hat ride, which looks so innocent. And I'm expecting, we sit down and Brett goes, "Oh yeah, I lied about this one too." So now I'm thinking, oh my God, is there going to be a big drop reveal? But he was lying about lying. So that was funny.
Yeah.
But, good times.
Yeah, good times. Scott rides some of the motion rides, things like that. Be fine.
I like the spinning, like
the Men in Black,
rotor rides, Men in Black. But the rides there, I love the Minions, Spider-Man, because those give me the feeling of being on a roller coaster without being on a roller coaster. So if it gets too intense, if you just close your eyes, you know you're not on a roller coaster.
Right.
So, and I have to say, those rides really are amazing how it's a 4D experience, wouldn't you say? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, I would say they don't call it 4D officially, but yeah, it's like a 4D. And what it is you have I'll use like Spider-Man Transformers are similar rides, slightly different track platforms. They do actually have where the tracks move up higher at different points, things like that. But it's not like a roller coaster speed or anything like that.
Right.
But you have like in Transformers, you have a section where Devastator shows up and you try to get away from him. And it feels like you're really driving like 80 miles an hour. And then you turn back around, you have to shoot through Devastator. They put on the shields to protect it. And so it feels like you're really moving. And realistically, we probably only move just a short distance between a couple different screens.
It's the combination of 3D visuals, like movie screen visuals, combined with motion of your seat, combined with like wind or heat. Like when an explosion happens, like heat will blast you. If they go through water will spray. So like it's this immersive event where all of these combined makes you feel like you really can get into it.
It gets into all your senses.
Right.
Sound, sight, feel, even smells.
Yeah. A small bit of real motion combined with the visual motion of a 3D. It's amazing how you feel like you're really falling off a building, or it's a really cool effect.
So, with the Minions, they changed it where there's no longer 3D glasses, so it doesn't have the same effect as it used to. We rode it once. It used to be one of my favorite rides, but when they got rid of 3D, it's now dropped down the list.
The 3D was amazing on that. I wonder why they got rid of it.
I don't know. They did it both at Orlando and Hollywood's versions of it. So I was a little disappointed in that when they did it almost 2 years ago now. And it wasn't a COVID thing. They'd done it, started in Hollywood before COVID. So
okay.
It was just a decision not to do it. They figured, well, I guess it runs I don't know. I think it's still fun, but I would ride it a couple times during my trips. Where now we did 4 days. I did it once.
Like the 3D on that though, you really feel like you're going through the Minion world when it has the 3D on.
Yeah. No, they have a new ride opening this summer. Don't have a date yet. Right across from that, it's another Minion ride. They're making the entire entrance there kind of like a Minion way. They closed the Monster Cafe because over at the new Epic Park they're building, it's going to have its own classic monsters area, as its own land. It'll be one of the sections along with Nintendo World. They're about 2 to 3 years away from opening that up. They're building it now. Things are going into place. So I've seen some pictures online of aerial stuff showing where they're starting to build Bowser's Castle. That's the first land they're really actually building. They're also supposed to be building like a Dracula or Frankenstein's castle, and they're supposed to have a classic monsters ride through that. Okay. So they're really going. It's gonna be a neat thing. I think the cool thing about it is it's not directly attached. Where Universal Studios and Islands Adventure, you can take the train across or walk around the front. This one is on on the other side of the hotel, so you'd have to take a bus there
Okay.
To get there from. You'd have to basically plan to go there. Personally, the way it looks like it's gonna be a larger park. If you do that park, you're doing the whole day there.
Well, maybe they can extend the Hogwarts Express to go over there
I
too.
doubt that because you have to cross I-4 and International Drive. It's literally like a mile and a half away, just from the outskirts of the current
Got it.
Universal Studios. So they won't do that.
So it'll be a whole separate section.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you think about it. I mean, there's like at Disney they have 4 parks, and they have a couple of where you have to go different ways to get to different ones, but it's not necessarily easy just to get there. So it's going to be kind of like that. But I think they're designing it as if you're going to Epic, you're going to spend all day in Epic.
Yeah,
it's even going to have a couple of hotels eventually attached right to it to make it that. And I know when it opens, it's just going to be crazy busy the whole time. So I doubt when it opens, I'll go like right away, but I'll definitely be trying to get there. But you're seeing slight changes at Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios that they're prepping. Like, okay, we're making this whole Minions way. They did that in Japan where they had a couple different Minion stuff. They changed the Monster Cafe is going to be Minion Cafe. The new ride is going to be based around the Minions movie where they went to Villain Con. So they've got the Villain 6 that Gru wanted to join. So it's the last Minions movie, Rise of Gru, is based on that. I heard it's gonna be it might be like a target shooting game or something like that. Especially if it's a walkthrough or a slow ride through or something. It sounds to me like I'm thinking it's gonna be like if you look up the Hollywood Studios, they have the Toy Story Midway game or ride. I think it's gonna be something like that.
Okay.
So that's gonna be kind of cool. But they've also closed the Fear Factor show. It's about rumors are they're supposed to they might be putting in a Harry Potter ride there that's like flying on the brooms. So probably tied into Quidditch or something like that. Nothing has been started there, so that's still probably a few years off. They're doing a lot of refurbishments here and there. They were doing a lot of the walls were up in different areas, like around Simpsons ride still open, but they're refurbishing the front end a little bit. Just a lot of it's like repaint, clean up, stuff like that. Right. They closed the Woody Woodpecker area, and that whole area looks like it's going to be a DreamWorks thing. They got DreamWorks characters all around the walls. It's usually an indicator of what's going in there, and they haven't said what exactly. But they're tearing down the old Woody Woodpecker roller coaster. There's a water area back there. The stage that Barney was on is all going to be gone. They're going to redo that whole section, which is a huge area. So it's actually a lot of cool stuff going on. It still sounds like it might be a kid zone because E.T.'s still there.
Okay.
So it'll be things like that.
E.T. was a very dated ride.
It's not going anywhere though.
I'm surprised though, because it's not like anyone under 30. Do they even know who E.T. is anymore?
Well, a lot of the parents that bring their kids, they go on the ride, and I can see them actually showing them the movie afterwards.
Yeah,
things like that. So it's still a popular ride. People still ride it.
It felt very dated to me though.
It is. It is very dated. I mean, we rode it. It's one of Vinny's favorite rides. We rode it probably 3-4 times. I know he rode it a couple more times than we did. And it's a fun ride. It's like it's their version of the Peter Pan ride over at Disney.
Right. So, it's cool how they use miniatures to build a landscape. So you're flying in the bike.
Yeah.
And you're they're using a miniature landscape, so it's like you're very high up. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I'm just surprised, because how much do you hear about ETs with all this stuff they're renovating and tearing down and replacing with new stuff? I'm just surprised ET is the one that's lasting.
Yeah. Yeah, he rode it 5 days in a row, Vinny did. Yeah. So I'd say that. So, yeah,
it's a cool ride.
I like it. I still ride it. And, of course, just to promote Vinny and at least his T-minus 24 the first day, Vinny wore their new ET shirt they have available. So you can get it through T-24.com or at the shows they'll be appearing at. It's a cool shirt. I'll be picking one up sometime this year, too.
Yeah, I just put the link in the comments there. Go check them out. But, do they still have the Terminator ride?
No, Terminator closed a few years ago. It was replaced by the coolest stunt show. It's based on the Bourne movies.
Okay,
and this show is fantastic. We took Brandy's mom and stepdad came out, so we had 2 Kevins, Kevin's stepdad and Kevin Miter, and we took them to see that. We saw it a couple times while we were there. We went on Sunday for that show, and the neat thing about this, you got a full projection, screen up behind the actual physical actors that are there, they have physical set pieces that roll in and out that tie into the background. I mean, there's a scene where they have to go to a house, and they roll in as the camera's panning on the house, and it's tied up secretly for the porch area. So the porch is a physical out there. The rest of it's all been filmed, and sometimes you forget which is real, which is not.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, it was funny with the Terminator ride because like they're talking about the stuff that's coming in the future, and like you're watching, it's like that stuff happened 20 years ago.
Yeah,
like we're so far into the future from Terminator 2 that now the stuff they're projecting has already happened.
Right. So it was time for that ride.
Yeah.
That
it was
to go,
that was another one that was cool though, because that was a live action stunt show mixed in. Like they would come out and do this whole interactive sequence. You know, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like the Terminator, but definitely dated. But the new stunt stick calculator is really cool.
Yeah, I'll have to see
that.
And
if you've never seen the Bourne movies, you don't have to. They give you all the stuff. Julia Stiles does the opening thing out on the screen outside, and then they have the live action actors inside. And anything is that sometimes they're played by a male or sometimes played by a female because they give them names that kind of go either way. Stuff like that. The other show I really always like is the horror makeup show. That's a hilarious show. And anything like that one is, it's the same show every time, but what changes is how they interact with the audience.
That's the part that's fun with it. Is it's a sarcastic, fun humor, and they'll kind of razz people, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I saw one of the females. She played the makeup artist, and then the other time she played the host. Which is kind of neat. And then the other guy was playing the host, makeup artist that time was somebody saw him play the host too. So we saw a bunch of them, like they interact, jump back and forth, and the roles and that. So just a blast, a lot of fun.
I know Vinny and Lisa have gone, or at least I can't remember if they both went or just Lisa, but the Star Wars one over at Disney. Have you gone to the Star Wars land?
No, I haven't been to Galaxy Edge yet. Yeah. I want to plan a trip.
I so want to do that so bad. I got to see the Millennium Falcon at least once.
Well, that'd be for me. I'd like to do a couple days of Hollywood Studios because I'd like to spend almost a full day there trying to do all the Star Wars stuff a couple times even.
Yeah.
And then they have the Toy Story Land over there too, as well as some of the other stuff. It's a lot of fun. Some rides I know you wouldn't do, but definitely, Lisa's do it. Now, Lisa had a chance. She got invited by a friend. They went and did the stay at the Star Cruiser experience. Not a cheap experience, but it immerses you. There's a storyline. You get a little bit of time in Batuu, but otherwise it's all spilled on this hotel / Star Cruiser.
Yeah.
So, but I'd like to go there. I want to do, they have the Rise of the Resistance ride, which looks phenomenal. You also have where you actually pilot or part of the crew that pilots the Millennium Falcon. Mm-hmm. You have everybody has different roles within that. So that's kind of neat. And then all the stuff, wandering around, build your own lightsaber stuff, things like that. So.
Yeah, well, it looks really cool to me. I can't wait to go someday.
Yeah,
but looking forward to that. You mentioned the Toy Story Land and stuff. Have you seen? I don't know if it's rumors or what, but they're talking about Toy Story 5.
Yes,
Alan coming back for that.
Yes, he's posted on that. But it's Bob Iger came back. He's trying to revamp a lot of stuff here. So. Don't see if I can find anything. Yeah, here we go. It was a week ago. It was right after we had the show last week that they announced that there was going to be a new Toy Story 5, another Frozen, another Zootopia, which I knew they were doing another Zootopia, so that really wasn't any new. But they announced originally that Toy Story 4 was it. Mm-hmm. So that's what I wasn't thrilled with Toy Story 4, but we'll see what they do with Toy Story 5. So we're still good 2 to 3 years off of that. Lightyear did not do as well as they wanted, so I don't think they're doing anything more with that. But Toy Story 5 is officially in development. It's because Iger's come in and said, okay, we have to get back on track on some things, and they know that it's sometimes easy to go basically your cash cows, which is Frozen, Toy Story, and Zootopia did very well too. So they're going to do some things with that. So that when I first heard, I was like, okay, this is speculation. Then I started looking around, and major news sources carried it, and that. So it's like right now, currently for Pixar, they got Elemental coming out this year. Then they have this movie called Elio next year, which is an intergalactic sci-fi epic. Inside Out 2 was supposed to be coming out next year as well, a sequel to the 2015 movie. So they have dates through 2027. Sounds like Toy Story may probably get the 26 or 27 release. So, because I mean, that's 4 or 5 years away. Because it takes that long, really, between if they're just now starting, between all the story work, storyboarding, layouts, animation, and then the rendering, regardless of how powerful our computers are, still takes quite a while. So,
right.
But it'd be interesting to see, considering the fact that at the end of Toy Story 4, you had Woody not going back with the toys. He's off living in the real world with Bo Peep.
Yeah. I feel like they gave it a good ending to end the series, but
yeah,
like you, I was on the fence about that one, but actually, it was probably the creepiest Toy Story, like with all the puppets and stuff. Felt like it was very creepy.
They should do it as it was a dream of Woody's. It never really happened.
Oh, he wakes up in the New Heart Hotel.
Yeah. But yeah, so they've got that, and then speaking about Disney though, they're doing a lot of budget cuts. They got to trim like
huge
$3 billion budget cuts, and of course I've seen a lot of speculation. How's it going to affect some of these series going forward? Well, first of all, Mandalorian's a hit, not going anywhere. I think it's gonna be shows that just didn't take off as well. A lot of the Marvel stuff they've done one season on, they're not gonna renew for another season. We'll see a second season of Loki. Stuff already in current production will still come out, but anything that's not, they're gonna start cutting that trim and the fat there. They're also, I read yesterday, they are going to be selling rights to some of the stuff they have on Disney Plus to secondary markets and sources. So when they say something's gonna be leaving Disney Plus, I wouldn't be surprised it doesn't pop up somewhere else on another streaming avenue.
Like Hulu.
Could be, well, Hulu is Disney, so I don't think it would be Hulu. I'm thinking it'd be something like a Tubi or Pluto.
Oh, okay.
It could stuff could also end up on some of the cable networks.
Yeah,
you can see them on like TBS, things like that. So it's going to be, and that's the thing I could see. Like, okay, Mandalorian's getting ready to start in 2 weeks on season 3. I could see them selling the rights to season 1 to air.
Got it.
On like a TBS, TNT,
right.
Something like the Sci-Fi Channel,
right?
Things like that. Even stuff they don't own because they could get that separate money that's coming in.
When you think about it, like the streaming model, I was going to share a story. I'll just verbally mention it. Like at some award show on Monday, Steven Spielberg was talking to Tom Cruise, and they were quoting him saying how Spielberg was saying to Cruise, "You saved the theatrical industry for Hollywood through Top Gun Maverick," because he refused to go the streaming route and how much money it's made. But there's a bunch of different aspects to this. But the streaming model, it's a nice model for this constant stream of money where you're collecting my $10 every single month.
Yeah.
But the fact is, whether you put 1,000 awesome shows on or 100 awesome shows on, you're getting the same $10 from me.
Yeah.
And by taking things away from the theatrical market, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot in a very big revenue stream. And so I do wonder, how much of these losses, it's easy to say, well, they went woke, go broke, which people know my opinions on things. I tend to go that route. But I do think streaming models have a limit, and you don't want to, the theatrical release route has a huge revenue stream that they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot with. So I personally am a big fan of the theatrical model. I would like things like Mandalorian. Yes, put that on Disney Plus. But these movies, I really think they should be exclusive to the theaters and then make you wait a little bit before you see it streaming.
Well, that's what it's been about certain ones. I mean, I was able to watch. I wanted to go see Wakanda Forever in the theater. I ended up only being able to watch it on streaming because of just time constraints.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to wait 3 months for it to come out.
Right.
I think they should do that. During COVID, the same day releases like HBO was doing as in theater and that, it hurt the box office. Like, why go pay when I can just watch it for free here? I'm already paying for this, or I get it for free, whatever source. I watch some of these movies, and some ones are making for the streaming are fine, and they look like they need to be there. Then there's some going, okay, this could have been released. Prey was one on Hulu. That should have been theatrically released.
That would make good money.
Yeah.
That would have made good money. And then they got like these kind of middle of the road ones where it's like, okay, I wasn't going to go see it at the theater, but since it's streaming, I'll watch it. But did it help them? I didn't get a membership to watch that. I'm just watching it because it's part of, I'm paying for it anyways.
Right.
So they didn't make any additional revenue by me watching it.
Yeah.
So that's why I think everybody went so strong to the streaming models. I think they're starting to learn financially the limits of only relying on streaming.
This is the same thing that happened in the 50s with television. Television was the cinema killer. It was going to kill the cinema. 30 years later, home movie VHSs, people having their own, is going to kill the cinema. What it takes is there's always a few years of adjustment, and then we realize that the studios need to continue to make movies that are designed for the theater. Maverick was designed for the theater. Watching at home, still enjoyable, but you don't get the same effect as watching it in a theater. Not just with everybody else around you, but just for that full sound size, everything that's engrossed with it.
But also the group experience. Marvel. Look at the replays of Marvel when Captain America gets the hammer. The whole theater erupts in cheers.
And that's
you don't get that at home.
And that's part of my statement, not just the crowd. That's why I was saying that with my little statement is that, because the crowd is a big aspect of that. Yeah. And that's the whole thing. Like the first time I saw Maverick was a preview screening, and the crowd was about 75% full. We're all living that same experience that first time, and it was really cool. Saw it again. It was still quite a packed theater when I went a few weeks later with a friend of mine, and we both just really enjoyed it. When I saw Clerks 3 during the Fandango events they were doing in September, seeing that for the first time with a crowd of like-minded people that wanted to see this movie, that were excited to see this movie, is much better than watching it at home streaming for the first time, even if you just watch it with your family.
Well, think about it, even like the canned laughter they'll add, because hearing laughter enhances your own experience at home. Well, how much more having 300 people surrounding you laughing for real?
Yeah.
And you're laughing too. And it's just this enhanced experience that you have personally by seeing it in that setting,
Yeah.
And it's like a concert. It's way better to see a concert live than to listen to it on a DVD, CD at your house or stream it at your house.
Oh yeah, live music performances are way better to go to than just listen to music at home.
Yeah. Unless it's Rihanna and they're just lip syncing and.
Well, we watched the first half at dinner. Got back to the hotel. Kevin and I, and Brandy was down in the pool area during halftime. Then she went upstairs. But Kevin and I watched the third quarter down there. I got back upstairs. For some reason, our TV was out of sync the entire rest of the game.
Didn't notice a lot of people. I saw a lot of people posting that. So I don't think it was just your TV.
Yeah, so I figured it had to be them. And maybe they did that on purpose to cover the fact they screwed up with Rihanna. I personally, it's funny, is people sitting all around us, they were at first excited when she was coming out in the pool area. And halfway here, you could hear people rumbling, and the pool was like 25 people. And they're going, this kind of sucks.
It was probably the worst performance I ever saw. She wasn't even trying to lip sync. Like, she would do half a sentence and then just stop and walk away, and you still hear her singing.
Yeah.
It's like, are you not even trying? Like,
no. I told them what's going on. I'm not a Rihanna fan. I know some of her music. I was never a fan. I have nothing personally against her, so I don't. This isn't me by saying that I don't like her. I just was never a fan of her music. I'm watching this thing, going, okay, I know exactly what's going on here, and then I read about it afterwards. She had not performed live in like 7 years. She, I think, has new music coming out now. You can tell because right away, Brandy was like, "Is she pregnant?" I said, "I don't know. She could be," and and they come out. That's how she announced her pregnancy. I looked at this as a complete marketing tool of the music industry, and this is why I don't care for a lot of popular music industry whatevers. I like music. I enjoy good bands. There's a lot of them that definitely are part of the system. But I follow a lot more of the independents, and that's what I've always said, because they actually truly love making music. Yes, they want to make money and they want to do well, just like anybody does. But some of these ones, it's like they are being propped up for some reason, and I don't always get it. And it's just and they do this not just with Rihanna. There's a bunch of other ones out there that do that. And I think it's just a shame because it dilutes and waters down the music industry and good music.
But like, even like the choreography. So she comes out obviously pregnant, and like, it's this raunchy, like, sexualized dance of her with like all these guys surrounding her, and it was like, what? Like, I don't know. I'm becoming an old prude. I don't know.
But... Well, you are turning 50 as by your own admission.
Yeah.
So. Well, here's the thing I saw I'm watching this thing, and it reminded me of the movie Angus. Do you remember the movie Angus from the 90s?
No.
Okay, it's about a kid who's a bigger kid. He's fat, plays football, knows science, stuff like that, and it follows him. He's constantly picked on by James Van Der Beek. This was before James Van Der Beek was Dawson. It's a good movie. I've always liked it. Done very well. You got Kathy Bates plays his mom. The dad is played Patton. George
Orwell? No. George I know who you're talking about. I can picture him.
George's Patton is Patton. And it was George C. Scott.
There you go.
Played Patton. So he plays the grandfather, and he's got a great line in there because the kid's like he's just he's getting picked on. He's not like playing victim or anything. He's just going through life. He's like, yeah, this is whatever. And like every time like Van Der Beek's character, it's like they show it through the years. He does something, pisses him off. Angus breaks his nose. He's a bigger guy. He can handle stuff, but he's just not a bully. He's like he takes it because it's just like whatever. So the thing is like it's just like Carrie. They set him up to be the prom king. Yep, you've got it right there. And then
I never saw this.
Oh, it's a great film. So you've got like one scene where the grandfather he gets elected to be prom king, and they're like, no way, I can't believe it. And then of course he's got a crush on the blonde who's the popular girl, stuff like that. And the grandfather tells him, he's talking to him, he's like, he goes, you know why Superman's not brave? It's because he's impervious. He can't be hurt. That's why he's not brave. If you can be hurt, you're brave.
You need fear to be brave.
Yep. So and stuff like that. So of course, he does this experiment, the science experiment about conforming, not conforming. It's all parallel to the movie itself, but there's like a red dot with other stuff around it. That's this experiment, and then just like the red dot, the blue. That's kind of the theming you see through the whole thing, and that's how I felt with her performance was. She's trying to say she's different from everybody else. And in some ways where he was showing, that he's not better, he's just different. I thought she was showing like she's better than everybody else because they're all white and trying to keep them away or whatever. So,
right.
But if you get a chance to see Angus, find it streaming or something like that. I don't even know if it's available on DVD at this time. It should be because it's a great film.
The last thing I want to bring up from the Super Bowl before we go on, at least for my topics, is did you see the Flash trailer?
Yes. Yeah, we saw that.
Yeah. So for me personally, I will say the trailer itself looks good. I'm still not going to see it only because of Ezra Miller. I wish they had recast him. I love multiverse stories. So like it looks like we've got Affleck in this. And also a lot of rumors were addressed. Like people were saying like Keaton's scene was cut. Well, they put him in the trailer, so obviously his scenes aren't cut. Yeah. We got the Supergirl, which I would prefer if it was Cavill. That would have been a much more emotional scene of Cavill's Superman.
Mostly it's Superwoman.
Yeah, whoever. It's super nobody. Nobody cares about her as this role. But with Ezra Miller, I'm not going to see it. But the trailer looked good.
Yeah, the trailer looked surprisingly good. I still think it's they've been doing massive reshooting and editing, and what it's designed to do is cap the end of everything that they've had so far, so everything gets like rebooted. Which I mean, you really don't need, but the film they spent so much money on the film, they had to finish it and be done with it for cost wise because it's too much to write off.
You can only cancel so many films. Yeah, not air. They already got rid of Batgirl.
Batgirl. They got rid of the Scoob sequel, which actually I would have liked to have seen. The first one was really good, and stuff like that. And of course,
they're another company that took a huge hit financially.
Yeah. So, and it's just like, okay, so we got Zod back in this too as well, and stuff like that. So it's gonna be.
I also found that intriguing because I remember interviews with Michael Shannon, who plays Zod. He didn't seem like he liked being that role. He didn't like being in that movie, and he had negative comments. So I was surprised he came back. Of course, enough money, I guess, will bring you back.
Yeah. Well, I think what he didn't like about it is they killed him at the end.
Could be.
And realistically, he shouldn't have killed him. They should have threw him back up in the Phantom Zone, so they could have revisited him down the road if they wanted to. Now we get all the different multiverse versions of all these people. So,
well, we still have Terrence Stamp is still alive, right? Let's bring him back in the multiverse. We need the real Zod to come back. Terrence Stamp at 80 is way better than Michael Shannon is.
Oh, geez. He's 70, 85 this year. He'll be 85 this year.
Let's bring him back.
Yeah.
I want Terrence Stamp.
He was great. And the other two are still alive too. So
yes,
they could actually bring all three back at an age thing. So Sarah Douglas, who is awesome, and I've met her a few times over the years. She's wonderful as a person. She's just great to talk to. And
to this day, I think they were some of the all-time best superhero villains for a movie. Those three.
Yes,
that was such a great storyline. And
while I know it's always sacrilegious, people love the Christopher Reeves movie. I got nothing against him with Superman. I always found the movies to be a little lacking, especially the first one. I felt it was just it was, I think it was more. It was neat to see it when you're a kid, but as I got older, the stories and everything else, I was like, there's like Zod was number 2 was my favorite.
I think that was the pinnacle.
Yeah, I've got the DVD somewhere of the director's cut, the Donner cut. Which was it was basically, I get to say, either way, it was like it had a few scenes in, but didn't really fix any of the storytelling in that. Problem with the Downer cut was that's the one that they based the Superman Returns on, was based on that movie, and claimed that as when he was human, without his powers, he knocked up Lois Lane, and then they made him a deadbeat dad, basically.
Right.
Which was a stupid way to go. So
yeah.
I like the Man of Steel with Cavill. There were some issues there. He shouldn't have killed Zod because that's not Superman. Superman doesn't do that.
And their treatment of Pa Kent, I think, was bad.
Yes.
I didn't like how they handled that. The problem is they have Superman like in his 30s, but they wanted to act like he was like 15, like inexperienced, like a 15-year-old. And they either should have gone with a really young actor to play Superman, or if they went with Cavill, go with a more experienced Superman. But they were trying to have it both ways, and I think that's part of the problem. But
yeah, so we'll see. It's all basically done after the Flash. Yeah. So,
but of course, they did give us our Martha moment. So, save Martha.
Yeah, the Batman versus Superman news.
Why did you say that? But I like the trailer. So we did get a reveal of Affleck coming back and Keaton, but there's another Batman in there that looks like it's a different Batman. So people are wondering, is that going to be Christian Bale coming back? Is it going to be Pattinson, or is it going to be someone completely different?
I think it's going to be Pattinson because they are doing a second one. That's still in the books.
See, I don't think it is Pattinson, only because James Gunn made it clear that is Elseworlds and will be a completely separate universe. So that's why I think they'll keep it separate to not have any confusion.
See, that's why I completely disagree with you on that. They will bring it in there so they can actually hammer home the fact that it's Elseworlds as they define the different multiverses.
Well, and as far as Pattinson goes, that he is on contract and he's going to be doing another one. Was that confirmed that they're doing another one?
Yeah, they're supposed to do a second one.
Yeah. I just couldn't remember if it was actually like just in developmental or was it fully greenlit. I couldn't remember that part. But anyways, it would be most convenient to bring him back for sure.
Right.
So we'll see where it goes. I think from a fan aspect, if they could sneak Christian Bale in, since Christian Bale has such a huge following as Batman, I think that would be a huge fan moment if we are surprised by a Christian Bale appearance. Kind of like when Andrew Garfield appeared in Spider-Man. There was a big cheer in the theater because there was some doubt as to whether or not he was going to be there or not. So.
Yeah, I really think it's not going to be, only because Christian Bale really he didn't want to do that last Batman movie, and I just don't think that he would make a comeback, because for him, he's one of those people that it's not about the money,
right?
So, he'll do what he wants and film stuff like that, but
so we'll see. I'm curious to see who, and it could be someone completely new, maybe somebody to lay the direction for another, Batman Beyond, if they want to do those, or there's a whole bunch of other Batman.
Well, they're recasting Batman anyways for anything going forward after this movie anyway, so it could be a whole new Batman.
Well, and in the comics, there was a period of time where somebody else was Batman other than Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And so it could be that. Then there's a timeline where Thomas Wayne becomes Batman, isn't there?
I think so. It could have been Nightwing.
Yep. So there's all different things they could. There's a lot of options out there, but I'll be curious to see what they do.
Yeah, and I'm still not thrilled about going to see it. I'll make up my mind as it comes out. I really don't care for Ezra Miller.
My thing is this: so Ezra Miller actively kidnapped somebody. He actively groomed somebody. He actively assaulted somebody. Like, these are criminal acts. Johnny Depp is just simply accused of something, which later ends up not being the case. And he was let go from a whole franchise instantly based on accusation. This guy has multiple acts he's guilty of. And it's like, yeah, it's okay. He's sorry.
Yeah, I that's what I don't agree with, and that's the whole thing.
That's why I can't support it.
I think that.
Yeah, from what I understand, I don't think he's even been apologetic.
No, he's a sick individual. So
he is,
and it's all come out. They, whatever he wants to call himself these days, has zero remorse.
That's from what I can see, that's the case. I don't see him,
and I don't know how he's gotten out of all this trouble, because again, it's.
Well, I know how. It's because he's a they, and so it's like, oh, everyone wants to bow into that side of the ideology.
Well, it's a shame, because this is a sick individual that should never have been. I mean, the only reason he got to finish these films is because they had 95% of them filmed.
My only hope is this: the only way I'm going to see this is if I find out that through this they recast him, they kill off his version of Flash, and a new Flash is in its place. But Gunn has made multiple statements that indicate that it sounds like Miller is going to be the Flash moving forward as well. So
now what I have seen is after this movie, they're all gone. There's not going to be anybody continuing on. So after this Flash movie, he's done.
I don't know. How Gunn's talking. He's talking about how he's had talks with Ezra Miller and he's committed to the role and he's willing to go long term. So, I mean, why would you say that if
I've not seen any of that? So if you've seen something I haven't seen, then, because everything I was seeing was, we're redoing the whole thing. So
yeah. Well, I think they're keeping. I thought I heard they're keeping Jason Momoa. That doesn't mean they're keeping Aquaman. Like, they could be doing the fans really want Momoa to be Lobo, so they could do something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the other thing about Variety has something that says, James Gunn calls it one of the greatest superhero movies ever. Of course, he's going to say that because he wants it to make money, because he gets a piece of that. He said his DC future is decided after recovery. So obviously, it's some kind of recovery, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I personally think you get rid of them all and start off fresh. Aquaman 2 is still supposed to come out. That's supposed to, because they've already that.
And that one they recasted Amber Heard. Isn't Daenerys from Game of Thrones?
Yeah, she's taken over the role. Yep.
But that's what I find interesting. They're willing to recast those roles and redo them, but not. But then they say, well, it's too expensive to just cancel a movie. But then they just canceled a movie. So it's like they're all over the place.
Well, I think what it is the amount of write-off this would have, because it's been postponed. Realistically, they probably have literally spent $500 million to make this movie. And I think a lot of it is right now is when you see stuff like the James Gunn saying this stuff, he's not going to say anything negative where the movie's concerned, even the actors, till after the movie comes out.
Yeah.
If he's just dead, he's not coming back, he's done. People are like, well, I don't want to see it then if he's gone.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah. Let's see how he talks after it comes out.
And that's kind of what I've been saying with Gunn this whole time is everything now is all in conjecture. It's all politics. It's all just, you have to say stuff because you still have stuff in production. Okay, we're not going to do another movie. So they did not rehire Cavill. So he's not been fired. He just was not contracted again to move forward. Affleck, they basically, it didn't work out. And they said, okay, we're just not going to go forward with that Batman movie.
Yeah.
And he's fine because Affleck's got a new movie coming out. Him and Matt Damon, and he's producing, directing, and writing it about the first Jordan shoe. Did you see the trailer for that?
I did. Yes, I saw that. That's interesting. I never really thought about the history of a shoe. So I thought
but it actually looks pretty good. I was surprised. I was watching it going, okay, that actually looks good. I wouldn't mind seeing that because it's it's something you never think about. It's like, okay, this with Jordan, that was the first time they actually had a player coming into the NBA that wasn't a superstar per se. He was known. He was a big time college star. And they were anticipating great things from him, which he did more than what they anticipated. But the shoe thing aspect of it, I think it's kind of interesting to see how that works.
Yeah, the shoes themselves have taken on their own persona in a way. I mean, we had the Chuck Taylors, which are named after a player and stuff, but they never got to like the Jordans as far. I mean, they're still around. People like Chuck Taylors, but they don't have the aura that.
Well, think about it. Everybody calls them Chucks, and nobody really knows the player. They just like the shoe style.
Right.
It's become its own thing where Jumpman, which is the icon they put on these shoes, has become its own thing. And is even kind of greater than what it was with Nike as Nike started it. So Jordan has the Jumpman thing. So they release shoes all the time that are limited editions, things like that. It's huge business. Yeah. So,
well, shall we actually cover part of the show?
I think we've covered quite a bit of that. So different stuff. But we got Bad Batch.
Bad Batch. Last week was 2 episodes released of part 1 and 2.
Yep. And we got to see the Emperor come back. Basically, the 2 episodes go together. Mm-hmm. And we saw one episode, which was all the politics stuff that you needed to see to make the second episode more. That basically the Bad Batch was set up, as you can figure it out, by the Emperor to cause some things to happen. What they're doing now is they're getting rid of the clone army. This has been in the works the entire time this whole series has been going. So now they've set up everything to retire the clones and bring in, basically regular conscripted troopers.
Right.
And this is where we hear the Emperor saying this, the stormtrooper. That's what he actually announces. These will be stormtroopers,
right,
versus the clone troopers.
Yeah, I'm glad they're covering this. I mean, as a stormtrooper myself, with the 501st, I'm glad they're covering this part of the history and showing it. But what's really cool is seeing Palpatine's genius of setting up people, where really he created a no-lose situation for himself, where if the clones didn't pull through, he would get what he want through this one Imperial officer. If the Imperial officer got caught, then he could maneuver and get what he wanted this other way. So, and even with the Jedi in Order 66 and everything, he's constantly setting up scenarios where either outcome he can win.
Right.
So I like how they do that, and they really cover. Yeah, I do find it interesting though, knowing the Galactic Senate looks at this dude and says, "Doesn't he look a little evil?" I mean, he's got glowing eyes, dark hood.
Well, you've got those that are constantly supporting the Emperor that are all on his side, and what we've seen is the division in the galaxy as they've continued to wipe out the Separatist movement, which has now switched from Separatist to the Rebellion almost. So, and that's where we're seeing on certain things. Certain groups that supported what the Emperor wanted as a Separatist, which he, of course, was saying was against, are being wiped out.
Yep.
So it's a whole mix of that stuff there. A lot of cool political intrigue going on. They're building this up.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, we're seeing them set up. I mean, this series should be ongoing for a couple more seasons at least. But there's certainly a lot of cool stuff that really fleshes out everything that we see in between. And I think it's something that will play a role in future Star Wars shows as well.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm real, as always, just like the Clone Wars series that this kind of is a continuation of. It's so well done. If you've never watched these, It's not really a kid show. I mean, kids can watch it. They don't go too far into a mature storyline, but I think they deal with the issues of the clones and political intrigue. They treat it as adult stories, and I think they do a great job. Like even this morning's episode, I really liked. They kind of diverge from this storyline here, but they're just so well done. And if you're an adult and you think, oh, that's a cartoon, trust me, if you love Star Wars, you're going to love these things. Go back to Clone Wars, watch that, watch this, watch Rebels. You'll like them.
Oh yeah, definitely. I highly recommend that. Yeah. I think with the Last of Us, let's hold off till next week.
Yeah.
Not because of time, that's part of it. But last week's episode and this week's episode really go hand in hand, kind of like how the 2 episodes were dropped last week for the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Go hand in hand. So we can talk about both those together. Because we're at a pivotal point within The Last of Us with those 2 episodes too.
Yeah, I'm really liking the way they're handling this. I'm liking the pace. They're moving the story along, but they're still developing the characters, developing the relationships, and making them stronger while moving the story along.
Right.
So I think they're handling it very well, and I look forward to seeing where this goes as well. And we're already in mid-February, so we got Mandalorian right around the corner.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks from today is the first episode.
Then we got Ant-Man this week. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up.
Yeah, I'm going to see Ant-Man on Thursday, so next week I'll give a spoiler-free review of that. If Scott sees it, we'll talk a little bit about it, but we won't get too much into it.
I'll definitely be seeing it, just not sure what day or time yet. I'm hoping to see it Thursday, but if not, I'll see it this weekend for sure.
Yeah, I bought tickets for 4 o'clock tomorrow, so I'm going to work during part of the day and then go see it in towards the evening. And then looking forward to it. Let's see what they do. I'm seeing mixed reviews on it, like I've seen with a lot of the Marvel stuff, but there was a lot of initial reviews that were pretty good. So
yeah, Phase 4, thankfully we've gotten through it. That was our desert experience as fans. This hopefully will get us back on track. I was so excited with the Loki series, how they set things up, and then everything since has just been kind of nothingness. And now this is getting back on track. We're back on the Kang story. Sounds like this is going to carry forward into a bunch more movies. So, like I said, like those moments that we used to have with Marvel, where the entire theater would erupt. Even it was always Captain America based. I feel like the scene where Vision and Black Widow are getting their butts kicked by Thanos' thugs. And then you see the train going by, and then you see the silhouette. You can hear the crowd like, oh my God, who's that? Who's that? Then you see the silhouette clearly, and everyone starts cheering because they know that's Captain America. Then he steps into the light, and they go nuts. Like, we didn't have those moments at all in Phase 4, at all. And
this was going to set up the next. This is set up the next phase. Guardians will finish up their series, and then we'll all go from there. But I'm looking forward to this because Kang's back. Kang's already been announced as the big bad for this next series.
Did you see the updated trailer for Guardians?
Not yet.
That was good. That was well done. Check it out. They expand a little bit. I definitely am looking forward to seeing a little more. You got Gamora in it, and you see, Gamora is the version of Gamora had she not gotten to love Peter.
Yep.
And because that version died. So it's funny. I'll just throw out one line. So she's like, the way you talk about her, it's more like you're in love with Nebula. She points at Nebula, and Nebula and Peter are both like, that's stupid. And then they look at each other. Then all of a sudden Peter kind of looks at her. And she's like, stop. And he's like, I never noticed how nice your eyes were, or something like that. And she's like, my father ripped out my eyes and gave me these ones. He's like, well, he gave you a nice set. So that's a character I've really liked. That it's changed a lot from the first Guardians. Is Nebula, how she's become part of the group, and then she started off as a pure bad guy.
So I think it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to that one as well. And then,
but that's going to be the last one, at least with the current cast. So we could see a lot of deaths. We could see who knows what happens in this one. So there's, we don't know who's going to survive.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see what does happen with them, if they're gonna kill them off or just kind of say, okay, hey, they're off doing whatever, and doesn't necessarily be anything tied into the main story.
The rumors are Gunn is trying to tap into a lot of those actors to come over to DC now. Yeah, then I'm also seeing rumors of Cavill being Marvel is reaching out to him for some of their parts. So we might start seeing some shuffling happening after these.
I can see that because I know the Guardians actors all support Gunn.
They're huge supporters of Gunn.
So I can see them popping in, maybe not anything continuous, but as something like a major role in one of the films.
So I could definitely see Peter. Oh my God, his real name, Chris Pratt. I could see Chris Pratt signing on to do a franchise. He seems to have no issues doing multi-movie deals.
Right.
So I could see Pratt doing it. Batista, it sounds like he really wants to move away from this kind of stuff and try to really become a serious actor. He's got that new movie out that just came out.
Yeah, he wants to move away from the makeup.
Right.
That's his big thing is the makeup.
But like he just recently did Glass Onion. Yep. He's just did this one that just came out where it's like this prophecy movie. It looks interesting. I didn't see it. I'll probably see that if it's on streaming down the road.
Are you talking about the Knock at the Cabin?
Yes, that one.
Yep.
Yeah, like it comes across as like religious zealots, but then these things are happening, and it's intriguing. Is that an M. Night Shyamalan movie?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yep.
So I usually.
Yeah, it's also got Ron Weasley's in it as well. So
that's right. Yes. So I do want to see it, but probably not see it. I don't want to see it enough to go see it at the theater. I don't think. If I'm bored, I'll go see it, but otherwise, I'll wait till it's on TV.
Yeah, time-wise, it's just I haven't got a lot of time to do that because
I got to pick and choose.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna go see Guardians tomorrow. Besides my normal job, Guardians Ant-Man tomorrow. Besides my normal work schedule, I've got to prep because we're doing Great Lakes Comic-Con next weekend.
Yes, that's right around the corner.
Yep. So I've got to get all my stuff together because I haven't got anything together since my last show. So I got to go through and see what I have left because that's all I'm bringing anyway. So
that part is such a pain getting ready for the show.
Yeah,
I hate that.
I'll be doing some of that this afternoon and then a little bit here and there next couple of days. Really, I just got to get all my stuff reorganized a little bit from flying versus driving.
Yeah. That's the nice thing when we were doing so many shows is I had a kit that was always ready for flying and a kit that was always ready for drive to shows. But now I don't do as many shows. So now it's the same. I got to repackage everything for each thing. And it's so annoying.
Yeah, just a little bit. So,
yeah.
So cool. Hey, it was a great show. Appreciate it. Talk to everybody today and hope you enjoyed our show. Come back and see us next week. If you don't like us, well, I guess we won't know. Bye.